And feel free to put something underneath your head and check in with your knees to make sure that, or check in with your legs to make sure you feel comfortable there. You can bend your knees, or you could place a bolster underneath your knees. And just take some time to start to notice your body, settle into your body. Taking note of what's present for you in your mental or emotional landscape. Taking a full breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And a few more breaths like that, in through your nose. Exhaling out of your mouth, maybe sighing or making a little sound. Bringing your hands onto your low belly. And just taking a few breaths into your low belly so you really feel your belly push into your hands. You feel the softening of the belly on your exhale. Taking a few more rounds of belly breath and seeing if you can get the feeling to expand out in all directions. So the sides of your belly and also your low back, and then down into your pelvic floor and up into the base of your rib cage. Everything expanding out. And then bring your hands up onto your rib cage, to your mid ribs. And just focus on breathing into the middle of your abdomen so that you feel your ribs expand outwards. So you inhale, and then as you exhale, they soften back together. And then slide your hands up onto your upper chest near your collarbones. Fingers might even be touching just above the collarbones into the scalenes. So breathe into your upper chest. Breathe all the way up into the collarbones. You might notice how those muscles in the neck also start to activate at the top of your inhale, as they help to lift the upper ribs to make more space for the breath to come into the upper lungs. And you can bring your arms down along your sides and just find this three-part breath. So as you inhale, breathe into your belly and then let your ribs expand and then let your chest expand. And as you exhale, the chest releases, the ribs soften back together, and the belly is the last to release. And I'll just have you take a minute or so to focus on deepening your breath in this way through these three different parts, like a wave moving up and moving down. And as you're breathing deeply, relax your face and relax your jaw. Notice places that feel very open to the breath. Notice places that maybe feel less open to receiving breath. Next time you exhale, you can come back to a natural breath. Maybe your breath is a bit deeper and longer naturally after spending time doing that breathing exercise. If you have something underneath your head, you can remove it, unless that feels like absolutely most comfortable. But we're just going to roll the head gently from side to side, and it can be nice to not have anything underneath the head. So just slowly starting to rotate the head over to the right, moving slowly, not going further than what feels comfortable for your body. And then rolling through center and over to the left, noticing if there's a difference between the two sides. Maybe one side feels like there's a little bit more range of motion. Maybe one side feels smoother than the other, stickier. And just continue to let your head rotate from side to side, moving very slowly. So, and tracking the contact on the back of the head with the floor. So feeling, when each part comes into contact and comes out of contact. And then open your eyes and allow your eyes to move in the same direction that your head is moving. So starting to look in the direction that you're turning your head. Almost like the movement is being initiated from the eyes. Doing that a few more times. And then bring your head to center. Next time it comes through center, pause for a moment. Let the head rest, the eyes rest. And then start to tilt your head over to the right and let your eyes turn to the left. So your eyes move in the opposite direction of your head, and as your head comes back to center, your eyes come back to center, your head moves to the left, your eyes track to the right. It's okay if it feels confusing. It can be confusing when we confuse the nervous system in this way. It allows for some repatterning of tension. So just keep exploring, moving your head to one side, moving your eyes in the opposite direction of your head. And keeping the breath nice and easy and deep and flowing. And bring your head back to center and just pausing. Really relax your jaw, let the roof of your mouth soften, let your tongue relax. And then bend your knees, placing your feet down on the ground, and you can open up your feet about shoulder width apart. And just start to let them tilt from side to side, tilting the knees over to the right, and up to center and over to the left, only going as far as feels really comfortable and easeful for you. And noticing which hip, what the hips feel like, and if there's a difference between your right hip and your left hip. The movement feels different, if the sensation feels different. Really tuning into as you tilt your hips side to side, just feeling that tilting of your pelvis. And as the pelvis tilts, feeling the twisting of the spine. And noticing if you feel that motion affect your shoulders and your head and your neck. You can, if you haven't already, you could start to let your head turn in the opposite direction of your knees. And you can add another element of letting the eyes turn in the same direction that the knees are going. So the eyes are going the opposite direction of the head, same direction of the knees. Keeping your breath nice and easeful and flowing. And as you come back up to center, you can draw your knees up into your chest and give yourself a hug, stretching out your low back. And send some deep breaths down into your tailbone, down into your low back. You can rock a little bit side to side. Take some circles. And bring your feet back down to the ground. Feet and knees about hips width apart. You're going to exhale, and you can bend your knees and place your feet down on the ground. And as you exhale, you can tilt your pelvis back so your low back rounds towards the ground. Your hips stay down on the floor. And as you inhale, you can bring your pelvis through neutral. And if it's comfortable, you can begin to make a small arch in your low back. And then as you exhale, tilt your pelvis back so you are pressing that arch flat towards the ground, and your navel compresses in towards your spine. And inhale, tilt your pelvis through neutral, maybe starting to arch your back. And exhale, tilt your pelvis back, rounding your low back towards the ground. And just continue to follow this tilting of your pelvis with your breath. So the exhale tilts the pelvis back so the belly compresses, the ribs and the pubic bone get a little closer together. The ribs and the pubic bone. And then as you inhale, you tilt your pelvis forward, you're expanding your belly so that the space between your pubic bone and your ribs gets longer. And as you're tilting your pelvis forward and back, just notice what's going on with your head. Notice if you feel any movement in your head or your neck. Just a slight change in the position of your head as you tilt forward or back. And then resting in a neutral position, you could keep your legs, knees bent, or you could straighten them out for a breath. And bend your knees again, place your feet down on the ground, about hips width apart. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, you're going to tilt your pelvis back and then press into your feet and inhale, lift your hips away from the floor. And exhale, bring your hips down to the ground. Inhale, tilt your pelvis forward, arching your low back. Exhale, tilt your pelvis back, rounding your low back towards the ground. Inhale, press into your feet, lift your pelvis away from the earth. Exhale, lower the pelvis down. Inhale, tilt your pelvis forward. Exhale, tilt your pelvis back. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, lift the hips up to the sky. Exhale, lower your hips down to the ground. And then windshield wipe your legs a few times from side to side. Draw your left knee in towards your chest. Extend your right leg onto the mat. Bring the left knee in as close as feels comfortable. Breathe into the front of your right thigh. Take a few breaths here. Relax your shoulders, relax your head. And you can make a circle with that left knee to circle the left hip, only as much as feels comfortable for your range of motion. You can circle in the other direction. And then extend this left leg onto the mat and draw your right knee into your chest. Draw the right knee as close as is comfortable. Breathe into the left hip as it just gets a little stretch in the front there. And then circle the knee around. And in the opposite direction. And then extend this right leg long. Reach both your arms up overhead. Reach to the feet. Take a nice long stretch. And bend your knees again. Bring your arms down along your side. Extend your right leg up to the sky. Let the joints feel soft and just start to circle your foot around in a circle. And circling the foot in the opposite direction. And pointing and flexing your foot a few times. Then as you inhale, bend your knee, dropping your heel down towards your hamstring. And as you exhale, you can start to straighten your knee, only as straight as feels comfortable. When you get as straight as you can draw your toes towards your nose if that's comfortable. And then inhale, bend your knee again. And exhale, straighten the leg up towards the sky. Inhale, bend your knee. And exhale, straighten. And bring that right foot down to the ground. And extend your left leg up to the sky. Roll your ankle around. And in the opposite direction. Point and flex your foot. Let the foot relax, and as you inhale, bend your knee. And exhale, extend your leg up to the sky, flexing your toes towards your nose for a little stretch in the back of the leg. Inhale, bend your knee. Exhale, straightening the leg, flexing your toes towards your nose. One more time. Inhale, bend your knee. And exhale, straightening the leg, toes towards your nose. And then bring that left foot down to the ground. Roll over onto your side, whatever side feels most comfortable. Pause here for a few breaths in the fetal position. And beginning to make your way up and into a seat. So you can sit on a chair if you'd like to, if that's most comfortable. You can sit up on a pillow. You just want to make sure that you can just kind of relax in this position, that your hips feel as relaxed as possible. We'll be here for a little while doing shoulder and neck work. All right, so we'll focus on the shoulders. So inhale, lift the shoulders up towards your ears, and exhale, release them down. Inhale, drawing them up, and exhaling. Doing that a few more times, inhaling up and exhaling. And we'll just roll the shoulders a few times. And the opposite direction. Relax the shoulders, make a little circle with the nose, just taking your neck through an easeful range of motion. Noticing any tightness or stickiness in your neck. Bring your head up to center. And we'll contract the left shoulder and the left ear towards each other. So we're shortening the scalenes and the trap, a bunch of other muscles. And then as you exhale, relax the shoulder, tilt your head over to the right, little stretch on that left side. Inhale, bring the left ear and the left shoulder together, contracting. And exhale, releasing, tilting the head over to the right for a gentle stretch. And one more time, inhale, bringing them together. And exhale, releasing, holding here, breathing into that stretch on the left side. Bring your right hand to the left side of your head. And as you inhale, you're just going to very gently press your head into your hand and push your hand back into your head, so you're creating some resistance. And then exhale, relax, feeling the stretch there. Inhale, pressing your head into your hand. Your hand resists. Exhale, relax. Stretching. Do that one more time. Inhale, press your head into your hand. And release. Getting a nice long stretch there. And taking the left arm out to your side, palm open. Take the left arm back and flex the wrist back. You can keep your hand here for a little traction if you'd like, or you can release it down to you. And then lifting up and just rolling that left shoulder around a few times. And just pausing in center, you might close your eyes and just notice how the left shoulder, left side of the neck feels compared to the right side. And then we'll bring the right ear and the right shoulder together. And exhale, relax the shoulder, tilt the head over to the left. Inhale, bring the right ear and right shoulder together. Exhale, release the shoulder, tilt the head over to the left, stretching out that right side. And one more time, inhale. Right ear, right shoulder. Exhaling, releasing. Holding here. Bringing your left hand to the right side of your head. And you're going to gently push your head into your hand and resist with your hand. So you're meeting some resistance as those muscles sort of start to activate. And then as you exhale, relax that tension in the head. Maybe give yourself a little bit more of a stretch. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, pressing your head into your hand, resisting. Exhale, relaxing, stretching gently. And 1 more time. Inhale, press your head into your hand, resist. And exhale, relaxing. You can keep your hand here for just a slight bit of traction. If that feels good, you could always release your left arm down to the ground. Bring your right arm out to your side. Flex your palm back. And then take your arm back until you feel an opening through the chest. Maybe you feel it out through the arm and the hand. And then coming back up to center and rolling that left shoulder around. I'm sorry, that right shoulder around. Roll both shoulders. Relax the shoulders. Draw your chin back. So you're retracting your chin, giving this serious look. And you're lengthening up to the base of the skull as you do that. And we'll do a little resistance work here. So take your fingers and bring them to your chin. And as you inhale, you're going to lean your head forward like you're trying to peer at a computer. And then resist with your fingers there on your chin. And then exhale, release, and then your head maybe comes a little bit more into that lengthened position. We'll do that 2 more times. So your head moves forward. You resist with your hands on your chin. And exhale, release back. 1 more time, pressing the head forward as you inhale. Resisting with your fingers. Exhaling, pressing back. And then release your hand, let your head come back to natural. Give it like a little head bobble. Bring your right hand down to the ground, reach your left arm up and over and side bend over to the right. And relax the left shoulder. You could always just let your forearm drape on your head. That can help relax the trap. Breathe into the left side. And then rising up and over to the left. Left hand comes down, right arm reaches over. Relaxing the shoulders, maybe just letting the forearm rest on the head. Breathing space into the right side. Rising up to center, bringing your hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers. Draw your shoulder blades together. Lift your chin slightly. Allow your heart to feel like it's getting an opening, a stretch across the chest, and also an opening through the midsection, solar plexus. And releasing that. Taking another circle around with your neck, circling, and just noticing if it feels, if the movement feels any different after doing a little bit of neck work. And come onto our hands and our knees next. So on your hands and your knees, you're going to inhale, tilt your tail up towards the sky, arching the back, lifting the head up towards the sky. And as you exhale, round your spine, letting your head come forward, tucking your tail under. Inhale, lift the head, lift the tail. Exhale, round your spine. Doing this a few more times, following your own breath. And coming to center, and then we'll come into a side bend. So bringing the right shoulder and the right hip towards each other. Looking over the right shoulder as you do that. And then through center and bringing the left shoulder, the left hip towards each other, looking over the left shoulder. And just swaying side to side, taking the spine through. Side bending, opening up the ribs more. Opening up the side of the hip. And then coming back to center, bringing your toes together, pressing your hips back towards your heels. Forehead can come down into a child's pose. Roll your forehead a few times, side to side. And if it's comfortable for your arms, you can bend your elbows and just bring your hands behind your occiput. And just hold there and breathe. And then reach your arms out in front of you, rise up to your tabletop pose. And you can come back into down dog if that feels comfortable, or you can make your way up into standing. And then standing, just starting to shake it out a little bit, bouncing. Maybe it's a small vibration, or maybe it's a really big jumping movement. So just shaking as a way to release built up tension in the body.
As seen on page 32.
Yes, as seen on page 32, this is a legitimate way to heal our ancestral trauma. You can inhale through your mouth and exhale. Inhale through your nose and exhale out of your mouth, maybe sighing or making sounds. And then coming back into stillness and just standing. You could close your eyes if you'd like to. Stand with your feet hips width apart, with your toes trying to face forward. Palms can face forward. The heart is open. Shoulders relaxed, and head is just kind of floating lightly on the neck. Jaw is soft, eyes are soft. You can bring a hand to your heart and a hand to your belly. Continuing just to pause and breathe, noticing. And you can release your arms and we'll come into a balance pose to stretch out the quad. So you can bring your left foot a little bit towards your midline and bend your right knee and reach for the ankle or the foot. And you can always bring the foot onto a chair or something. And we're feeling a stretch in the quad, and you might feel it all the way up into the belly, kind of psoas area. And you can bring your knee as far back as you need to feel a stretch. And you want to think about lengthening your pubic bone and your heart up towards the sky as you lengthen your knee down. And hold here for a few breaths, engaging some strength in this left glute to help stabilize the standing leg. You could always come to the wall for support. And sometimes it's nice to reach your left arm up towards the sky. And releasing top foot down. You can shake out the left leg. And then bring your right foot in towards your midline. It's a little easier to balance sometimes with the standing leg in the midline. You can bend the left knee, reaching out for the top of the foot or the ankle. Again, you want to point the knee down towards the ground. The pubic bone and the heart are reaching up towards the sky. You could come to the wall or you could reach your right arm up overhead. Breathing deeply. And releasing this leg down, separating your feet wider than shoulder width apart, wide angle. And just start to just let your hips kind of seesaw from side to side. Making sure you're not hyperextending your knees. And then let your hips tilt forward and back. And as you move your hips, notice what your head, maybe there's like an impulse for your head to move in a certain way. That's the pelvis affects and pulls on the rest of the body. And then make a circle. So circle the hips in a nice big circle or a small circle, whatever feels best for you. Breathe deeply. Notice what happens in your spine and your shoulders and your head as you circle your hips. And releasing that and shaking it out, bringing your feet back together. And we will come back down onto the floor. So you can inhale, reach your arms up overhead. And as you exhale, you can fold forward and then plant your hands, step back, and lower down onto your belly. And as you come onto your belly, you can place one hand underneath the other for your forehead or your cheek to lay on. And you can bend your knees so your feet go up to the sky and windshield wipe your legs from side to side slowly. And then bring your legs together, or lengthen your legs, bring them together. And bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Point your elbows back behind you. And as you inhale, lift the chest away from the floor, drawing the shoulder blades down the back and towards each other. You can squeeze your glutes if your low back hurts. And then exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift the chest away from the floor, drawing the shoulder blades together. You want to make sure that your neck is long here. You're not arching your head back, but your head is just long and in line with your spine. Exhale, coming down. And one more time, inhale, lifting up. It could just be the tiniest little lift. It doesn't have to be huge. And exhale, releasing down. Once again, you can slide your hands underneath your head. Just take a few deep breaths into your belly. And then draw your hands underneath your shoulders, press back into another child's pose. And we'll come up and make our way onto our backs. And here you can have your tennis ball close by. We'll end with a little bit of work for the shoulders and the hips. So you can lie on down onto your back. You can have your knees bent, and we can start with the left shoulder. So you're going to take the ball and you're going to place it in the upper back shoulder area, and you want to find the space that's between your shoulder blade and your spine so that you're not really on any bone. I mean, you'll be on ribs, but it won't be like the shoulder blade or the spine. And you want to get a little down into the rhomboid there. So there's this opportunity to be up in the upper trap, but take it a little further down so you're kind of in that mid. Think of it as a line there, kind of in the middle of the shoulder blade. You can bring your left arm along your side. I have this lacrosse ball in here that's like so hard. I think that tennis balls are nice. But you can be here. You can let your head even tilt over to the left a little bit just to help soften those muscles more. And we're just going to hold here and breathe, letting the tissues just start to release. Stay here if that's feeling good, or I'm going to invite you to bring your left arm up towards the sky. Just start to make a circle, like circle the arm around. Going slowly. So as you move the arm across the body, sometimes the sensation in the shoulder with the ball can get more intense. You can move up overhead, out to the side, down. And it can be as big or small of a circle, but just be led by what feels good for you. Bring the arm back down. You can reach around for the ball and just bring it a little bit up. So now it's more in that meaty trapezius, which is, you know, that muscle that you can squeeze on your shoulder. So you want the ball to be tucked in there, not so high that it shoots out behind you. It's just there, and you kind of let it rest.
And you can always move the ball a little bit. If you tilt your pelvis, that might move the ball. You could also move your shoulder blade around, just exploring.
Leela, I'm still not sure where it is. Is it not near the spine? Now it's sort of in the middle.
It's not near this, I mean, it's like off to the side of the spine. So if your trapezius is like, is this squeezy muscle right here? I mean, it's much bigger than that, but if you think about this space that gets a lot of tension, where you're going to be wanting to put the ball is sort of right just in there. But if you have it too high, then it'll pop out behind you. So when you're lying down, you just want to bring it there, and it's still like, it will be very uncomfortable if you have it on your spine. So it's off to the side and in this, and there's like the top rim of the shoulder blade there, and it's going to be kind of right off to that side.
I think I've got it.
Yeah. All right, so we'll just take just a few more breaths there, and then we'll switch it over. Actually, let's and we'll switch it over just for a moment to the right hip. So we're going that diagonal across. So bring the ball over to the left hip, and you're going to take the ball. You're going to lift your hips up to the sky, and you're going to bring the ball into the upper part of your glute area. So it's sort of right under. You're not going to be on your SI joint. You're going to be a little further down in like the meat of your glute, but not down towards the hamstring area, but more in that meaty glute medius is what it's called. Not because it's meaty, but because it's medium sized.
Leela, we were on our left shoulder before, and now we're doing our right glute.
Yes, we're exploring that cross, that diagonal connection between shoulder and hip.
Okay.
So with your hips in this way, what I tend to do is I tend to be like a little pushed into my feet so that I'm keeping my left hip a little bit up so I can kind of pour weight into my right hip as it's sinking into the ball. Another option would be to just like keep your left hip kind of relaxed, and that'll be like, there'll be less pressure in the right hip that way. Or you could kind of pour your weight into your right hip by keeping your left hip a little raised. And here we're just gonna, you can wiggle your hips from side to side, and that will take the ball across from sacrum to hip joint. You're windshield wiping it. And then you can also tilt your pelvis forward and back. So you're going up and down. And this is like, certainly, this is for you to feel like very empowered in following what feels right for you. So letting it be like, you know, because I'm not there to put the ball exactly where I'm saying, like I give, you know, I trust you to follow what feels right for you. We'll just be here for a little longer. We don't have a ton of time left. And then we'll lift the hips up. We'll remove the ball, bring the hips down to the ground. Take a moment. And then we're going to take the right ankle, place it over the left knee. So now we're stretching out the right hip, and you can draw the legs into the chest until you feel a stretch in the right hip. And we'll just take a few breaths into the right hip. Maybe rocking a little bit side to side. And then bring the feet back down to the ground. And then we're going to take the ball, and we're going to bring the ball into the right shoulder now. So you're taking the ball, and we're starting a little bit in down in the rhomboid area, so which is between that between the shoulder blade and the spine. So you want to bring the ball into there, find what feels like a good spot for you. You can explore, if you tilt your pelvis forward and back, it can help sort of move your torso up and down. But you can find a spot that feels right for you to be in, and then just pause and breathe and let your body sink into the pressure of the ball. See if you can really relax your jaw. And you can take let's reach the arm up towards the sky. And then only if this is comfortable, make a circle. Breathing deeply into your shoulder blade. Just exploring angles of the arm. And then releasing the arm back down to the ground, and you can reach with the left arm if that's comfortable for the ball, and then you're going to bring the ball up into the trap area. So you're just moving it up into that kind of meaty trap area that you can squeeze with your hand on your shoulder. And just stump the ball in there. We'll just hold there and breathe. Remove that ball, and then you're going to bring it underneath your left hip. So we're feeling that cross, that connection between the right shoulder and the left hip now. So bringing it underneath the left hip, so left glute area. So you're kind of in the you're underneath the SI joint, off to the side of your sacrum, and you can rock the hips side to side. And you can find a nice spot in the middle there, and then rock your pelvis forward and back. And you can even circle the pelvis. If you circle the pelvis, then you get a nice circle with the ball and the tissue. And releasing this ball out from underneath you, taking your left ankle over your right knee for figure four stretch, drawing your legs into your chest, breathing into your left hip. Maybe rocking a little bit side to side. And then releasing that. And then we'll let the legs come long. Maybe put a bolster underneath your knees if you'd like to. Bring your arms along your sides. Place
a pillow underneath your head. Just resting for a little while to integrate. Letting your eyes close. Letting all parts of your body soften. Letting your breath relax. As you're ready, you can deepen your breath and wiggle your fingers and your toes, rolling over onto your side when you're ready. And pushing your way up into a seat.
Once you get into a seat, you can place a hand over your heart or your belly, wherever feels most